It's been nearly 3 years since PBA icon Pete Weber has won a title. Today, PDW has another chance at victory as he's the #3 seed in a tournament named for his late father, the great Dick Weber. But to do it, Pete will have to get through a field that includes another legend, all-time PBA title leader Walter Ray Williams Jr., and the young gun, Mike Fagan, your #1 seed. The Dick Weber Open is next. One week after Kelly Kulick's historic victory, the PBA finds itself in the Los Angeles area. And history could be made today as well here in Fountain Valley as Hall of Famer Pete Weber tries to finally win the tournament named after his late father. Weber will have to do it from the 3-seed spot. 29-year-old Michael Fagan holds the top spot as he seeks his first singles title. Walter Ray Williams Jr. eyeing his 47th title. The underappreciated Ryan Shafer seeks to end a 6+ year title drought. And your current Player of the Year points leader, Bill O'Neill, will bowl Shafer first from his 5-seed spot. Glad you're with us this Sunday. Rob Stone once again joined by Randy Peterson. A really interesting show lining up for you today. We have a very special guest, which will add some fun wrinkles to the broadcast. Plus, we have two of the best up-and-coming young talents. We have Ryan Shafer, who has Hall of Fame numbers outside of career victories. And, of course, the two biggest names in bowling right now.
You're talking about Walter Ray, and the other guy's got to be Pete Weber.
Yep, you got it.
And when you look at the numbers that these two have compiled over their careers, the numbers are really staggering. 15 majors, 80 tour titles between the two, and over $7.5 million in career earnings. I mean, truly staggering numbers. But before we hand the check and trophy off to those two, we got to talk about our #1 seed, Michael Fagan. This is his 3rd telecast of the season. He finished 2nd here last year, and I believe, Rob, he is poised to win his first career singles title. All right.
He won his first PBA Tour title this season at the World Series of Bowling's Chameleon Championship. From Southampton, PA, the real deal, Bill O'Neill.
Nice pop for O'Neill. Your current Player of the Year points leader came into the week tied with Tom Smallwood, but O'Neill will gain on him and see how much he distances himself from Smallwood, depending on his finish here today. Good opening start for O'Neill. And up now, Ryan Shafer.
The owner of 4 Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour titles in the 2008-09 Steve Nagy Sportsmanship Award winner from Horseheads, New York. Please welcome Ryan Shafer.
Just 4 tour titles on his resume. Has accomplished so much. This is his 49th television appearance in a singles competition. Just 4 titles, though.
And guys, let me be so bold as to say, if there was ever a player to get into the Hall of Fame with just 4 titles, and there's not, it would be that man right there, Ryan Shafer. I'd vote for him. He's had just a tremendous career. I think it's 3 second-place finishes in majors, 3 third-place finishes in majors. Just a great career. The only thing missing on the resume, career titles.
His last tour title, the 2003 Empire State Open in Latham, New York. Won that one in November of '03. Almost a 7-10 there for a second.
He probably doesn't enjoy when you keep bringing up the 4 titles.
Yeah, well, but it's fact, and, you know, we always report the facts. You know, one thing, Bill, that you probably don't know about Ryan is that last season he was voted the Steve Nagy Sportsmanship Award winner. But I think it's only because his wife always bakes cookies for the other players.
Really? That's all it took?
Yeah.
Huh.
So maybe they should give the award to her. What kind of cookies?
I think all kinds.
Oh. Shafer takes care of the 10-pin, remains clean through 2. And the real deal, Bill O'Neill, who, Bill, is your favorite for this event because of all the research you've done on his bowling this season.
Which accounts to about a half hour ago. But he was listening to Jay-Z as he was warming up, which
that's all it takes.
Immediately swung me in his side.
It's the little things.
Yeah.
And there is the 7-10 split for you. Bill, I know you were eager to see a 7-10 this week.
Well, I thought they could rename the 7-10 split because everybody's tired of the term. And I was thinking it would be a good area code, whatever the area code for 710 is. So I looked it up. It's actually the area code of the federal government, so it doesn't work. It's the one area code that's not really an area code. I was hoping it would be like, I don't know, Shaker Heights or something. You could say, oh, the Shaker Heights.
Trying to drop the federal government. Punishes the 10, leaves the 7. The federal government. Are you kidding me?
It's the only area code that you can't call from.
Time now for the Lumber Liquidators Know the Wood. And it's the Dick Weber oil pattern this week, Randy.
And very similar to the Earl Anthony oil pattern a few weeks ago, 39 feet in length. And the only difference is a different oil was used this week. The area of play all week long was in, but we're already seeing players playing farther right than they did all week. 1-300 game and no lefties in the top 24.
Way right of target was O'Neill there.
Randy, what do you have to do to get an oil pattern named after you?
I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that, Bill. This one just a little wide of target, and there is absolutely no friction in the outside part of the lane. And that was one of the things that kept the scores low all week long, was the fact that, you know, this isn't league bowling. If you miss wide of target, you don't have the dry boards to get the ball to funnel back to the pocket.
Great pickup. Got as clean as it could be.
Bill, maybe you could just submit something to PBA.com.
Well, why don't you have an oil pattern named after you?
Now we're on
It's
to
a lack
something.
of respect, Randy. 13 titles. You should have an oil pattern.
Thanks, Bill.
Here's Shafer stepping up in the third. Strike spare for him so far.
It's amazing how that happens after practice.
Well, that ball there just finishes a little late, leaving the week 10. Ryan Shafer, all 3 shots in the pocket. The big difference right now is the pocket 7-10 in the second frame by Bill O'Neill.
That's the toughest shot for people who bowl just in everyday life. That one in the right corner?
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree?
10-pin? Yeah, they're intimidated by it.
I'm intimidated by it.
Yeah, well, because most of the time they're not using the proper technique. They don't stand far enough to the left, and they don't throw the ball straight. They try to curve it at it.
What was your high game, Bill, by the way?
199. It's a sore subject.
Yeah.
What happened? Did you gack it in the 10th?
Add a 191 going in the 10th frame.
Oh, my.
And 2 pins. Throw it right between them.
At least it's not haunting you anymore.
It still is.
Oh, man.
Leaves
That
the
was a
10
way
again.
better shot than the other ones.
The 10's haunting him.
Third frame in a row he's left it.
Yeah, this is a ring and 10. This is a really good shot here. Watch the 6-pin, second to the right, go around the 10-pin.
Puts on the skinny jeans to knock that one down. Ryan, 3 frames in a row, you left the 10-pin. What are you seeing out there?
Well, in practice, my ball speed was probably a hair slower. You know, you get adrenaline going. When you start the match, probably threw it a little too hard.
Ryan joining us courtesy of PBA Inside Ankle. And when we return, we talk about the superstitious nature of that man, our number 4 seed, Ryan Shafer. This is the PBA on ESPN. Shafer to begin the 10th.
He had a superstition about Pro Bowl promos right before he bowls. He never does well when that happens. Well played, Sean.
And now it's over.
Now it's over.
Yeah,
Oh, you just calculated that.
FYI, it's done.
You're like Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind. It's like immediately. 210 max.
So Bill O'Neill moves on, and he will take on Pete Weber in our next match. Good pickup for Shafer. This will be a disappointing end for him.
You know, and I think when you talk to any player out here, they would all agree that Ryan Shafer should have double-digit titles, a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame, and you know, it's just the one glaring number that really stands out. The 4 titles, and yeah, I said it again, Bill. Only 4 titles.
Keep bringing it up, Randy.
22nd year on the tour.
Has it been bad luck, or is it something where in the final round he just doesn't do it?
It's been a combination of things. Bad luck, some poor play.
He also seems to be matched up against some of the best every time he's on TV. He was telling us yesterday, can somebody please look up the stat of when I'm on the show, how many times Walter A. Williams Jr., Norm Duke, or Pete Weber have been on?
Right, and look at this show. You've got Bill O'Neill, Michael Fagan with Pete Weber and Walter A. I mean, it doesn't get any stronger than that.
Oh, oof. Will not drop. And Bill O'Neill, you're moving on. What are your thoughts on taking Pete Weber on in the next match?
I'm just hoping I can throw some good shots like I did there in the middle of that game. It's always nice to bowl Pete. I think Pete usually brings out the best of me.
That's Bill O'Neill, courtesy of PBA Inside Angle.
Thank you.
That's right. He's got his hands full.
O'Neill wins it.
Holding back.
Up next, Pete Weber. He'll get emotional talking about his late father. This is the one-a-day Dick Weber Open. Wins it.
Dick was really extra special. You know, he had a certain charisma that came out of him.
On the lane is a given. It's what he did off the lane that separates him from movie stars, from other athletes that want to get paid for autographs. You know, he was just there. When I lost to Dick Weber in Vegas, something happened to me that I would never believe happened. I wasn't angry. I couldn't believe that.
He was the greatest ambassador. He'll never be forgotten in the game of bowling.
We welcome you back to the 5th edition of the Dick Weber Open, where the all-time greats on and off the lanes in the world of bowling. 30 career PBA Tour titles. Won PBA titles in 6 different decades. That's just an amazing
Is that
stat.
true?
Yeah, it's up there. Of course it's true.
6 different decades.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing about it is, when you knew Dick, you really forgot about his accomplishments on the lanes, because off the lanes, he had so much charisma. He never met a stranger. He was just such a good guy to everyone. It didn't matter if you were a 13-time titleist or a no-time titleist like you. He was just everybody's friend.
And I love that, the only father-son combo in the Hall of Fame. And there is his son, Pete Weber. Pete, the number 2 seed here last year, but finished 3rd. He's won tournaments named for Johnny Petraglia, Earl Anthony, and Parker Bone III. But courtesy of our friends over at Storm, you will now learn why today's tournament, named in honor of Dick Weber, means so much to PDW.
It's great. It really has been great. I mean, you know, going around the world with Dick Weber being your father, I mean, you know, because he did all the work and I just kind of sat back and let him do it. So, you know, it was very fun for me. And actually, since he's passed, I've kind of picked up the slack a little bit. Maybe I'm not the Dick Weber, but I'm trying to be.
Dick's impact on Pete was just support. What an awesome support system from, you know, even his mother. Just awesome, always there. I won't ever forget when Pete, right after Dick passed, the first thing Pete always did was call his father. And when he got done with qualifying, he walked outside to have a cigarette, as he always does, and he says, he looked at me and says, "What do I do?" Because that was the time he always called his dad. I said, "Call your mom. She wants to hear you too." He said, "Okay." So after every squad, with the timing, if it's not too late, he calls his mom and he talks bowling with his mom.
Once again, our thanks to our friends at Storm, the Bowlers Company, for providing us that feature. And that feature aired in-house, and obviously it caught Pete's attention and his wife Tracy as well, and he saw both of them get a little emotional. Tough time to be playing with the emotions as you get set to roll in the 2010 Dick Weber Open. Match number 2 of the day, waiting on the backside, 3 seed Pete Weber to take on Bill O'Neill, courtesy of his 226-200 win over Ryan Shafer. Well, this was the scene last Sunday at the Tournament of Champions in Las Vegas, Nevada. Kelly Kulick, the first woman ever invited to the TOC. She earned the number 2 seed spot, and in the title match, she absolutely dismantled Chris Barnes en route to becoming the first woman to win on the PBA Tour. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson, and the sports guy, Bill Simmons, back with you live here from Fountain Valley, California. Good crowd here in the house. Colorful as always here in LA. And
we couldn't have had Kelly be here today.
She was busy. She's had these national commitments since she won, and we're hoping to get her on, and she had something else. She had a higher priority apparently than us.
It's too bad.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to her about that. Up now, match number 2 of the one-a-day Dick Weber Open. Bill O'Neill taking on your number 3 seed Pete Weber. And O'Neill, a native of Levittown, PA, will start us off.
Did she know that Bill was going to be here?
I don't know if that memo got to her. That might have changed things. A little light in the pocket there.
And guys, I don't want to rain on anybody's parade, but I watched the guys in warm-ups prior to the start of this match, and it did not look pretty. I mean, I didn't see a lot of strikes being thrown. The oil pattern's starting to kind of blow apart, and they didn't look real comfortable out there.
He's predicting below 200, maybe?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Oh.
So O'Neill starts this one off with a spare. Up now, Pete Weber.
A 34-time winner on tour with 8 majors, triple crown winner and PBA Hall of Famer. From St. Ann, Missouri, PDW, Pete Weber.
Always a crowd favorite, particularly when he's bowling again with a tournament named in honor of his father.
Rand, do you think it's more pressure on him to try to win his dad's tournament than a major? It's got to be, right?
Without question.
He's had some problems on TV as well, and made this show last year.
I mean, I would think it'd be emotional.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Pete bowled in the shadows of his dad for a lot of years out here, and then when he surpassed Dick in titles, you know, he kind of separated himself from Dick and became his own, you know, identity. So, but there's still a tremendous amount of pressure. I know that he wants this tournament just as much as a U.S. Open victory. This is his 3rd consecutive show in this event. And he has had some struggles the last 2 years here. But he said to Rob and myself yesterday, he says, you know what, guys, I'm not going to bowl scared tomorrow. I'm going to go out there and I'm just going to lay it all out on the line, and I'm just going to give it my best. Can't bowl with fear in the back of your mind.
He almost missed that single pin spare conversion there, and you saw him walk away going, safe. You know, let's get this first frame out of the way. Everybody's got a spare. We're nice and even, and let's start here on the second. Drop and give me 10. He won the 03-04 61st edition of the U.S. Open right here in this facility. This is a house he likes, Randy.
Yeah, it really does. There's a trademark high backswing. You see that hand flip around, and then the open hand release. Pete creates a tremendous amount of axis rotation, probably more so than any player on tour.
I'm going to say the crowd's behind Pete. Gets a little more excited when something good happens for him.
That's how you throw it. Come on.
So O'Neal with a jack of his own to match Weber through 2.
You guys have played my song enough.
And we're talking about all the attention Kelly has gotten since winning the TOC last Sunday. And good folks over there at CBS had it on in the morning show. And ESPN took her through the, what's the term they use over there? The car wash?
The car wash,
yes. Find a show, put her on the show.
She got so big, I didn't even want to have her on the BS report. I didn't want to get turned down. My podcast.
No. We could have put in a good word for her. Here's all the media appearances. She's available next week if you want to get her on the podcast.
I don't like to get turned down. What's that, the 410? I'm guessing.
210.
210.
It's close.
Got half of it. And here's the struggles that I saw in practice. Bill O'Neal moves in, gets the ball just a bit wide of target, and that was the penalty that you paid this week on this Dick Weber oil pattern.
Maybe a little intimidating when Pete steps in there.
That may add to it.
Open frame there for O'Neal. This is 4th top 25 finish of the season. But all those finishes have been in the top 3. You know, he's won once, a third, and now what's in store for he and his fiancée, Christy White. The two of them going to get married in May. Off week for the PBA next week, so Bill and Christy are going to go back home to PA and
it's a good job by Bill there.
Do some wedding planning, some cake tasting. Good use of your time. You sent your condolences to him already, didn't you?
I congratulated him, and I gave him condolences as well.
Here's Weber, bottom of the 3rd.
You gotta let the ball go, Pete. You gotta let the ball go.
And you hear Pete saying you got to let it go. And the problem with that is if you let it go and it's just a pinch wide of target, you do what Bill O'Neal did, and that's lead him to 210. So it's real easy to grab it just a pinch at the bottom of the swing and have that happen.
Back to live action. Pete takes care of that spare, and here is Pete talking about the importance of his wife, Tracy.
She means everything to me because she keeps me motivated. She keeps me in a positive frame of mind. And when she's not with me, I think I lack that. I think I lack a little thinking part. But she always keeps me motivated. She's always there for me, regardless. I mean, I think she gets more mad at the pins than I do.
Pete's got something brown on his nose here today. It's a big suck-up job to the missus. I'm impressed.
Randy was touched. He touched my knee as that was happening.
He does that often.
What a beautiful shot.
But Tracy was something to blow. She's got her game face on right now. Pete Weber up 12. The conclusion of Weber O'Neal when the PBA on ESPN returns live. Welcome you back to live coverage of the one-a-day Dick Weber Open. Pete Weber just struck there in the 5th, and it has been a struggle since we left you for Bill O'Neal. A spare in the 4th, an open frame in the 5th. This one slipping away from him as Weber leads by 37 to begin the 6th.
It got super awkward there with the open frame. It's one thing I didn't expect here at a live event was how awkward it gets if something bad happens. Everybody's just kind of like, ugh.
Bill O'Neal, he's lost out there on the oil patterns right now, Randy. And Pete Weber is not.
Yeah, he really is. And it's coming down to the difference of 2 ball rolls. Pete Weber has much more side rotation than Bill O'Neal. Bill O'Neal's more of an up-the-back guy. And because of the difference in rolls, Pete Weber's bowling ball is reading the oil pattern better than Bill O'Neal's.
Oh, we're in ham-bone range for
Nicky, I
Pete
hope
Weber.
you're feeling good.
And Pete Weber is bowling with an attitude right now as well, Randy. And I get the feeling that's when he bowls best. Bill O'Neal's ready to pack it up and go home.
Yeah, he's lost. And again, you know, it all boils down to ball reaction. You talk about Pete Weber feeling it, bowling with an attitude. Well, you also have to have a good look to get your ball to the pocket. If you don't have that, I don't care who you are, there's not going to be an attitude.
I got to say, bowling and golf, as a casual fan, are the 2 sports you can most identify with. When it goes wrong, you'd be like, oh, I've had that feeling. I've had that look on my face.
Without question. And the 2 sports are very similar.
All right, let's take a look again at ball rotation. Now watch the form, Bill O'Neill. Look at his hand and how much up the back he is at release. Very forward, more end over end roll. There's a great shot of it right there. Now watch Pete Weber's hand rotate around the ball at the point of release. See the fingers off to the side? Right there. Now because he has more side rotation, his ball can cover more ground down the lane.
That's got a hook out. O'Neill leaves the 10 in the 7th.
All right, I got to ask Randy about Pete's sunglasses. What's the advantage of wearing sunglasses during a bowling event?
Well, you know, it's bright lights, man. It's a big stage, bright lights, and sometimes there's a glare on the lane. You know, there's oil out on that synthetic lane surface, and for a guy like Pete Weber, he doesn't like to see any glare. He doesn't like the bright lights, and it's something that has been a trademark of his for many, many years. He's been very successful with the sunglasses.
How many guys do it?
He's the only one.
Really?
Let it off your hand. All you gotta do is let it off.
Take a look at the other finishers this week. Jack the Ripper Jurek in 8th. Norm Duke in 10th. Here's Pete Weber in the 7th, looking for 4 in a row.
Oh.
Right back at you, PT Dub.
Especially
Best
for you,
handball sign of the year, by the way. Good job, Fountain Valley. PDW is back, people.
He name-dropped Rob, and Rob is bright red, blushing right now with love,
on that land.
affection.
This is the best day ever.
Better move.
Looking for the veal chop.
The Pentagon.
Nice. Not get 5 in a row there.
And again, you just saw how sensitive the oil pattern is. That was a pretty good shot that was just maybe an inch right of where he can get it, and he pays the price for the 2-8-10. Not a lot of room, not a lot of mistake area on the lane. I mean, this looks good the whole way, and it just hydroplanes.
You know, Rob, since the result here seems like it's a foregone conclusion, I'd urge everyone to go on YouTube and look at some of Randy's old hairdos and mustaches from the 80s and 90s. If you have 5 minutes to spare.
Which you did last
There's some
night.
good ones. Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Really, Bill? Really? Really? You had to go there?
Bill, what was your favorite YouTube clip, by the way?
Well, I watched the worst break in PBA history, which you actually collapsed like you were shot. I mean, it's unbelievable.
O'Neill with the
Why
strike
was
in
that
the
such?
8th.
So 1995, you basically need a strike and 6 pins to win the event. Oh, go ahead. Do the replay first, Randy.
In the last couple of shots, Bill O'Neill's made an adjustment, and it may be too little too late because the best he can shoot is 202. Pete Weber is already in the 2 teens. However, given the sensitivity of the oil pattern, anything can still happen.
Door open.
Just 2 strikes so far for O'Neill. Down 43, can max out at 202. We begin the foundation for a 9th. Back-to-back jacks now for O'Neill.
Not over yet. And Bill, getting back to your comment on me leaving the solid 8 to lose, which was at that time a major event. I lost by 1 pin. Just so you know, I just got out of therapy.
Oh, no.
And you had to bring that up.
Why was that such a big deal to leave that pin? Is that like the hardest pin to leave?
Because in bowling, the solid 8 pin for a right-hander or a solid 9 pin for a left-hander is really considered the only natural tap in bowling.
All right. I'm sorry I brought that up. Randy just brought her a flask.
Another strike for PDW.
That does it.
And here is Pete on what winning this tournament means to him.
It would be such a big honor to actually hand myself the trophy on Sunday. That would be the ultimate thing to do. But you know, I got 3 tough opponents to go through to get there. But you know, winning this tournament would rank up there with the Triple Crown and the 4 U.S. Opens.
PDW needs 9 and 2 balls to advance.
flash the camera in my approach. I'm telling you, don't do it.
Oh, no.
I like it. I like this.
Oh, boy. He didn't tell me there was going to be violence.
She flashes that camera again on my approach.
But you said this on the podcast.
I hear it.
This is what you want in bowling. You want more anger. You want more
Don't do it again.
I don't want an angry Pete Weber.
Well, wait a minute. Didn't you say you wanted gambling, fighting, and PEDs?
I said, for bowling really to go to the next level, I think it needs to emulate the things that have not worked for other major sports, and those are the 3 things. PEDs especially, I think, would be a PED scandal in bowling. I think that would be a big deal.
For those of you that don't know what a PED is, that's a performance-enhancing drug.
Yes.
Is it not?
Yes, it is.
And just to go back to Pete Weber's outburst over there, there's a photographer there on the side of the lanes who snapped the picture, and this tells you how important this event is to Pete. You know, he realizes one bad toss due to one errant photograph snap could cost him the title, and this is the title that means the most to him, and a 10 that won't drop.
All right, Bill. Thanks.
But I like seeing Pete with this attitude. You know, it kind of reminds me of old school Pete Weber when he was the vigilante out there. He was the guy wearing the black hat at times.
Hey, he doesn't play, man. Don't get in the way of what he's trying to accomplish.
I'm afraid to look at him.
Well, it sounded like it was her.
Divert your eyes. Pete Weber moves on. When we return, a clash of the Titans. Pete Weber taking on Walter Ray Williams Jr. How about that for a matchup this Sunday? Welcome back to ESPN's live coverage of the one-a-day Dick Weber Open. Bill O'Neill winning match 1, losing match 2, setting up match 3. 2 Hall of Famers, Pete Weber versus Walter Ray Williams Jr. Earlier this week on Jay Leno, they had some clips of Kelly Kulick winning the TOC last week, and cracking, look at all the stars, look at all the Hollywood stars that are attending PBA events this year as he cut to shots of the Golden Globe. So we've got Hollywood stars. DiCaprio in the house on Grammy night here in LA. Bill Simmons even got an invite, and we snuck him in. Tom Hanks, very clean cut Tom Hanks.
These are all Bill's friends.
Name drop. And Iron Man. All right, time now for Pete Weber versus Walter Ray Williams Jr. Pete Weber will start us off. And we talked with Pete yesterday, Randy, and I made the comment, you got a smile on your face today. You know, that's not always the case with Pete, a very nice guy, but he seemed particularly warm and inviting yesterday. And one of the reasons, he's about to be a grandpa again, his first grandson on the way any day now. Kyson back in St. Louis. Pete and his wife will fly home Tuesday, and hopefully his daughter Nikki can hold her water till then.
Oh, boy.
You know, and this is the tough part. Pete can't let any of this affect his performance. He's just got to block it out. I mean, step off, go back through your routine, and just get up and act like it didn't happen. And Bill, this is going to be a very interesting match for the folks to watch. You're going to see 2 completely different angles being played by the players. Pete's going to play the deep inside line. I look for Walter Ray to play much straighter from the right side of the lane.
Is this the equivalent of LeBron Kobe, basically?
Yeah, it is.
Very much so. Now, time for the intro for Pete Weber's opponent.
The PBA Tour's all-time title holder. He owns 7 major victories and is a 6-time Player of the Year. PBA Hall of Famer from Ocala, Florida. Please welcome Walter Ray Williams Jr.
Age only a number to this guy. 50 years old, yet in pursuit today of tour title number 47.
I like the way he throws it.
See, that's the high hard one. He's going to play straight from out, and when he can do that, that's when he's at his best, and that's when he's the toughest to beat.
I think when your name is Walter Ray Williams Jr., you have to become a professional bowler. I think that's a rule.
It's preordained.
Yeah.
He's also a world champion.
horseshoe player.
Is that true?
See the horseshoes on his jersey right there. Yeah. One of the best ever.
I would have researched that, but you told me to do no research for this.
My bad.
Come on, baby. Back-to-back jacks for WRWJ to open up this match with Pete Weber.
And you know, a lot of times when the lanes get very difficult, the best recipe is straighter is greater, and that's exactly just like Walter Ray's mantra. I mean, that's what he does. He does that the best. Now, he is versatile. He can play all over the lane. He can play the inside angle. He can play first arrow and everything in between, but he likes it best when he can stay right at the head pin and fire it at the 1-3.
Weber, bottom of the second, down 10 early to Walter Ray.
Goes Brooklyn, but gets all 10 to drop.
Well, you can see just how sensitive the middle part of the lane is.
I like it. They're raising the stakes on each other.
Oh, Pete Weber moves right on that right lane, trying to take a page out of Walter Ray's book, but gets it left to target. Gets a nice break going Brooklyn. At what point do we start talking about how Walter Ray has owned Pete on television the last 10 outings?
Pretty soon.
Okay. What's the record?
2-8.
Yeah, it's 2-8
for Pete.
That's not good.
And that's taking a really good break and turning it into a double right there.
You know what they call that? A combined ham bone.
Nice.
Right?
Well played.
Thank you.
You're getting in the mood for the Winter Olympics with all those combined events. There you go, the head-to-head comparison of Walter Ray Williams Jr. versus Pete Weber. Walter Ray with an 8-2 advantage in 10 TV finals, but Walter Ray saying, you know, if it was 100 times, it'd probably be like 50-50.
He's just saying.
Walter Ray on a mission.
He's
an opening three-back.
Watching a pitcher throw 99, just humming it.
Yeah, he can bring it.
And again, he's 50 years old. I'm 50.
It's only his 170th telecast. And at 50 years of age, I mean, the guy's just ageless. It's amazing what he does. He's already won a tournament this season. And to just continue to do what he does out here is truly amazing. You ask any player out here, and he's just a freak of nature.
Top 5 this season in earnings, average, and points. Just one title this year, like Randy mentioned, that coming in the Motor City Open, where he beat Chris Barnes back in September.
Every time I cut to a different scene, it shows up on those video monitors. So just, I'll try to pay attention.
Boy, when you can get into his head.
Yeah, we've done it. There are some video monitors above the lanes that show the action to the house, and that's actually the first time I've seen anybody comment on it.
You know what's funny is I was wondering if that was a problem.
You know, a lot of success for Walter Ray in this building as he just throws
a four-bagger.
Yeah.
You know, Walter Ray, it's a four-bagger.
He actually pulled his first regional event in this center back in like 1980.
Yeah, both these guys have good vibes in this house. The winner to take on Michael Fagan in our title match. We'll see who survives. They'll roll on when we return to Fountain Valley.
Fifth frame, Walter Ray Williams Jr. with the lead. Here's Pete Weber in the fifth. Leaves the 2-10, could not convert it, so an open frame in the fifth. Here is Walter Ray live, looking for 6 in a row, and will not get it.
Oh, Rob, I was so excited.
See, I told you jinxed him during the
No, I
commercial
did.
break.
I asked Randy how many times the 300s happened. He only said 20. He said it's happened 20 times.
On TV.
Yeah. On TV. So, yeah, almost like witnessing a perfect game in baseball.
There's still another match.
I blame myself. I did the Joe Buck. I brought it up before it should have been brought up.
Trust us, Randy and I have this conversation every week when we're supposed to bring it up and not. I think we've decided the 8th or the 9th you can mull it. Walter Ray in the 6th. Now an open frame of his own. So Pete Weber really struggled while we were away in break. An 8 spare in the 4th frame and then an open frame in the 5th to fall behind fairly dramatically. Now the deficit only 30 pins for Weber as he steps up here in the bottom of the 6th.
Randy, did Walter basically take him out with those first 4 strikes? It seemed like it was just out of it at that point.
Well, right now, Walter Ray, because of the open frame, is in the 220s. Pete Weber can strike out and shoot 245, so this match far from over. But Pete Weber's going to have to make an adjustment. I think you're going to see that right here.
or Brooklyn strike. A strike is a strike, but that's still a concern for PDW.
Absolutely, and that's his third. I believe it's his third Brooklyn in 2 matches. So that's a sign of not being lined up, and that's the last thing you want to see. You know, the layman will look at it and go, well, yeah, but he struck.
Alrighty
Well,
then.
guess what? You can't rely on throwing Brooklyn strikes to get yourself back in the match.
I do think he's making a mistake not pretending that that was his intention. Because in basketball, if you bank the 3, you pretend you banked it. In bowling, you got to just, oh, yeah, I meant to do the Brooklyn.
I called that.
Yeah.
We begin the 7th. PDW working a strike, down 30. Trying to win the tournament named after his late father. That looks nice and leaves the 10.
Well, he really needed that one, too. He needed to start stringing some strikes to get back in this match.
Just doesn't have enough oomph.
Pete's been on quite a roll lately. Last week, missing the telecast at the Tournament of Champions by only 1 pin. So he's bowling well. Now he wants to just win again. That's the only thing that is in his mind, is to win again.
Odds not good right now for him, right?
Yeah, especially when you're going up against Walter Ray Williams Jr. Now you're trying to count on Walter Ray to make mistakes like he just did in the 6th frame, and you know, that's a lot to ask for from this guy.
Good break there for Walter Ray. A win today in this tournament, and he will vault into the lead in the Player of the Year point standings list.
And the last couple of shots a little loose. After he packs the first 5 in a row, he goes through the nose, and then this one's just a pinch wide.
Russell Crowe, what does Pete Weber need right now?
Well, Pete Weber needs another open frame by Walter Ray, and then he needs to strike out.
Which would put him at 225?
225. Pete Weber can strike out for 225. Walter Ray right now going at a 225 pace, meaning if he were to strike spare to end the game.
Top of the 8th, Walter Ray drops them all.
That's unhappy.
All right, so there's still life, but Pete knows exactly what he needs to do, and that's X's the rest of the game. Who's your favorite bowler out here, Bill?
I'm kind of like the way Walter throws it, I got to be honest. I feel like if I was a PBA bowler, I would have that style of just the power game. Probably different shirt choice maybe, but
that's your own prerogative.
Something a little more stylish.
Big 4, big trouble.
Lane's been my nemesis all day. Why stop now?
And Walter Ray was the higher seed and got the choice of starting lanes and decided to have Pete Weber finish on the right lane for this reason right here.
And another open frame for Weber here in the 8th.
Lane's baffled me all day long.
This one's slipping away quickly. Term Jerry curl juice used more than once on the broadcast, just as a heads up.
Why wasn't I invited?
We're gonna rectify that next year. Ludacris joined us in the booth, was outrageous.
Had no clue on
He
that,
fit
Lane.
right in with Randy and I.
Yeah, I had a,
unlike right now?
Yes.
I had a hard time calling that.
It was funny.
It was very entertaining.
Good show. Walter Ray, bottom of the 9th, 46-pin lead.
That's better.
You like that one, and that's why.
Yeah, driver's seat done. He's going to bowl Michael Fagan for the title. And here's the interesting note. Michael Fagan, power player, big hook guy. Walter Ray, down and in,
I thought
real
it might have had a
straight.
little advantage coming in, but I guess not.
So,
you know Michael Fagan's watching this match. It's going to be very interesting to see
I know you do.
how he decides to play the oil pattern.
Walter Ray and
Next
Pete
round of
Weber
golf's
having
on you, though.
some friendly banter here. And Pete just froze Walter Ray in his tracks.
The one thing I learned so far today,
Yeah?
do not slap flash bombs when Pete Weber's bowling. Do not do that.
Leave the camera at home.
I think you walk away with more than just that as a memory.
That's my #1 memory right
It's
now.
a good one, though, too.
Yeah, I was scared. I really thought he was going to go into the stands.
I was nervous as well.
I'll tell you what, though, the best flash camera ever happened to Walter Ray at an arena finals. And it was truly a flash. Caught him right in the downswing. I'll never forget it.
All right, so Pete Weber.
Another Brooklyn strike here in the 10th.
How's that lane?
So our final is set. Fagan versus Walter A. Williams Jr. will set up that title match. Plus, Bill Simmons will answer the one-a-day, more of what matters to you fan question of the day. Are you nervous?
I am. All right, you should be.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage of the Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour. PBA.com, your best source for all things PBA. The site redesigned this year features all the latest tournament information, live streaming video via Extra Frame, PBA merchandise, player bio, stats, and much, much more. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson, Bill Simmons back here with you in Fountain Valley. Time now for our Geico Championship recap. Randall.
Thank you, Rob. Match number 1 featured Bill O'Neill and Ryan Shafer. Bill O'Neill, after a slow start opening in the second frame, threw a 5-bagger late and took out Ryan Shafer 226 to 200.
Got his hands full.
And in the next match, you heard it, PDW said he's going to have his hands full, and guess what he did? Even a late split couldn't stop Pete Weber. He wins 214 to 202. Then in our next match, it featured Bill Simmons' favorite player, Walter Ray Williams Jr. And once again, Walter Ray shows his dominance over Pete Weber on television, taking out PDW 234-178.
An opening 5-bagger for Walter A. Williams Jr. in that win. So our title match set, Walter A. Williams Jr. versus the young man, Michael Fagan. Your thoughts on Walter Ray? What impresses you from watching him live for the first time?
Power. As Randy said, he throws the high, hard one, which I'm excited to say myself.
You just like saying that phrase. Let's be honest with that.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed like he came out of the gate like this was his tournament. He's going to win it, and that's it.
Well, Randy, your thoughts on Michael Fagan?
Well, it's all going to come down to how Michael Fagan plays the oil pattern. Michael Fagan's a power player, throws the big hook, and that's usually a sign of a player that's going to play the deep inside line. What we've seen today is that hasn't worked. What has worked is the straight ball from the right side of the lane, a la Walter Ray. So going into this title match, I would say there'd have to be a huge advantage for Walter Ray Williams Jr.
All right, time now for our one-a-day, more of what matters to you fan question of the day, and it goes to you, Bill Simmons, and it's nice. They're blending in your two loves, bowling and basketball. Comes from Mike Dahm of Auburn, New York. Which is more impressive, Walter Ray's 46 PBA titles or Bill Russell's 11 NBA rings? I think I know where I'm going with where you're going to go with this one.
Well, obviously Russell, but I think the biggest reason is that Russell did 11 titles in 13 years. You know, as you said, Walter Ray, I think it's more the longevity for him. It seems like I would compare him more to like a Nolan Ryan, where he's got the most strikeouts, but he also had the 25, 26-year career.
Think about Walter Ray's first ever Player of the Year honor. It was back in 1986.
Right.
I mean, the guy's longevity is the thing that really stands out, and that he's still able to perform at this level at age 50. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So our title match in its entirety when we return live to Fountain Valley. The number 1 seed, Michael Fagan, to take on the living legend in today's 2 seed, Walter Ray Williams Jr. Time now for the title match of the one-a-day Dick Weber Open, the 70th PBA event held here in Southern California. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson, and our special guest this week, the sports guy, Bill Simmons.
Rob, did you take your one-a-day vitamin today?
I actually do. I travel with it, but I don't do the 50 and over version. That's for Walter Ray. Walter Ray, the 2 seed, will start us off in his title match versus Michael Fagan. Walter Ray, 1 win away from tour title number 47. Right down the middle.
Oh, don't throw it like that. Come on. Don't do that.
He had all that momentum with that 234-178 victory. And it can evaporate that quickly.
Randy's gotten very serious on us.
It's a title match.
Yeah, it's a title match. Got my game face on.
He buckles down. Spare there for Walter Ray, and now time to meet his competitor.
1 tour title. He is making his 3rd TV appearance of the season. He is a member of Team USA 2010 from Patchogue, New York, the King of Swing, Mike Fagan.
Our Michael Fagan finished second here last season, falling to Norm Duke.
Great start
For Fagan, as we take a look at our Bear breakdown, Michael Fagan has won one tour title, but that came in a doubles event, so he's still seeking his first career singles tour title on his 10th TV singles broadcast. A huge discrepancy between these two in everything. Age, earnings, titles, TV finals.
Well, you got Bill Simmons money on the left,
right,
and Rob Stone money on the right. I mean, there's
that's you and me combined on the right. Back-to-back opening jacks for Fagan.
You know, and if anybody can play the inside line and make it look good, Michael Fagan can. And again, a lot of it has to do with that loft, that rotation, that power. We haven't seen anybody yet today make the inside part of the lane look good. Walter Ray's had the highest game today, playing that straight, high, hard one right up the second arrow.
A wobbly 10 will not drop.
Well, I got to tell you, Rob, I've got a feeling that Michael Fagan's going to give Walter Ray all he wants in this match. I think Michael Fagan is poised and is ready and feels that it's his time to win.
I think I've switched. I'm rooting for him because of the beard. I'm off Walter.
You got to like his form, too. I mean, it's a very unique, Gumby-like loose arm swing.
It's definitely one of those that if you don't bowl professionally for a living, when you watch, you're like, how do they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. When I watch, well, I'll tell you what, when I watch Walter Ray Williams Jr., if I were to walk in a bowling center and didn't know who this guy was, just by watching him throw it, I'd walk up to him and go, hey, you want to bowl me for some money? He's got that kind of playing style. But then all he's going to do is that all day and just take your cash.
And people don't realize that Randy actually does that. He walks into bowling centers and asks people to bowl for money.
On a daily basis. 9th consecutive PBA stop here in Fountain Valley. Our thanks to the co-proprietors here at Fountain Bowl, Gary Foreman and Dave Osborne. Always put on a good show here in this house.
Two of the best proprietors in the country right there.
Fagan opens up with a three-bagger, and Bill, you talked about the beard, and he said, you guys aren't going to comment about my playoff beard yesterday? He said last week he was second after qualifying at the TOC, went back, shaved. Things kind of caved in at that point.
Last week, I was second after qualifying the Rhino in the Tournament Champions, and went back to the room and had a shave, you know, looked good for the finals, and then everything went downhill. So I said this week, after I qualified first, I said, I'm not shaving. And I just left it. So try to get, you know, a little luck from here, maybe. A little playoff beard.
And he bowled as they were rolling video of him, which I was impressed by. Walter couldn't do that. Remember, he had to back off that last time.
Right now, Michael Fagan's in his wheelhouse, playing the deep inside line and bringing the heat. He likes it when he can be aggressive. Right now, he's got a great look.
We've seen Fagan on TV have some confidence issues, Randy, and he looks extremely comfortable where he is right now.
Ulting, baby, ulting.
Spare, now strike for Walter Ray.
And one of the greatest equalizers in our sport going up in a head-to-head match is applying pressure to your opponent, and that's how you do it. One more strike right here. Walter Ray's only trailing by 11, and he puts a little bit of Walter Ray in Mike Fagan's head. You know, hey, I'm not going anywhere. You better keep striking. Come on.
It's on.
Are you shifting your allegiances again?
Randy's getting sweaty. He likes this.
Yeah, this is good stuff. Title match. Arguably the greatest player to ever live right there, taking on one of the biggest up-and-coming names on our tour. Michael Fagan still looking for his first ever career singles title. He's perfect through 4 frames.
3 times a singles runner-up. Fagan, that one right of target, but a good conclusion for him.
Well, I'm not going to see a 300 today.
No, we're not. You'll have to join us for another week.
Yeah, we're going to have to bring you back.
I had my hopes up.
Well, this is a really good break. This one's going to be wide of target, but only leaving the 2 and not the 2-10 or 2-4-8-10 combination.
Takes care of the first spare conversion of the day, does Fagan. We're going to fire up the RV next week, and we'll begin to be in the New Orleans area for the Chris Paul PBA Celebrity Invitational. You can see that one at 2 Eastern next Sunday over on ESPN. Good start to your Super Bowl Sunday. And then the following weekend, we are in Reno, the 3rd major of the season, the USBC Masters, coming your way live from the National Bowling Stadium. Coverage of that one, 3 Eastern. Now Fagan with that great start, dropping an opening 4-bagger, now finding some issues getting to the pocket.
It's just getting way too aggressive. You got the adrenaline started to go. You got it way too pumped up, and now he's just throwing it. He's got to just kind of calm down, take a deep breath, back that speed down just a little bit. But you know what? One of the things I was thinking about was if the 3 of us were to be in an RV, the way I see it playing out is you drive, Bill does the cooking, I kick back, watch TV. What do you think?
Bill's cooking is, a telephone.
It's in my contract. I don't have to ride in RVs.
You don't slum it with the Mike Breens of the world?
I got to say that Walter's 2 strikes. I feel like Fagan had all the momentum. And Walter's like, hey, by the way, I'm Walter Wade Williams Jr. Watch his 2 strikes.
Yep.
Kind of rattled Fagan a little bit.
Yeah, again, just
he does that regularly.
2 very aggressive shots. Walter Wade right now can take the lead.
Hook a little bit. Hook a lot. Dang it, don't do that.
And just shy of a 4-bagger there for Williams.
Randy, how hard is it not to swear when you're on these TV matches?
Well, you know, it's kind of a mindset that you have when you're on television because you know that you have friends and family watching, and so you try to clean it up. There's a lot of swearing going on during qualifying and match play that you don't see. So I don't think it's any different than any other sport, but I think that for the most part, the guys out here are gentlemen, and they try to clean it up a bit. Unfortunately, every now and then, you have a little slip up. I know me personally, I never cursed on television.
It would probably be my biggest downfall as a bowler. I think I would swear constantly, probably get kicked out.
You'd be fined a lot.
Striking the 7th for WRWJ. Let's see how Fagan handles this pressure. Walter Ray with some high praise for his opponent today.
Some of the younger players need to look at somebody like Michael and say, I need to be more versatile. It's nice to be able to just hook the ball, but Mike can go up the lane if he needs to and wants to. And I think the biggest thing for him is realizing when he should do it and when he shouldn't do it. That's probably the biggest decision thing.
Boy, well said, and he's spot on with that. Michael Fagan right now looking to get a strike after back-to-back 2 pins.
Started with that opening 4-bagger that Fagan. Since then, he's been clean, but he's struggled.
Is it more pressure to win the major, to win the tournament on TV, or that you're about to beat Walter Wade Williams Jr. and you're thinking, oh my God?
I don't think Michael Fagan is thinking about who he's bowling. He's thinking about one thing only, and that's winning his first singles title. Yeah. Whether it was against Walter Ray or
his buddy Bill O'Neill.
Yeah, his buddy Bill O'Neill. It's not right now. Michael Fagan is bowling the pins, and he's trying to somehow keep his composure and just make the shots needed to win this tournament.
3 times the singles runner-up, once this year in the Shark Championship when he lost in that roll-off to Jack Jurek after being tied at 218. Right through the nose in the 8th, and Fagan has lost his look.
He drifted left. Is there a reason for this? The last few rolls.
He in his approach, he actually walks a bit to the left, and you see that predominantly with most power players out here. They tend to walk a little bit away from their target and then feed the ball back to the right. Yeah. I mean, look at the start though: 4-bagger, 2-pin, 2-pin, 4-7, and now the 3-6-9-10. This is one of the toughest spares, if not the toughest spare on tour.
Michael picks it up. So he remains clean.
So who's leading right now? Is it dead even?
Michael Fagan up by 4.
Yeah, Walter Ray trailing by 4, but he has a strike up and can take the lead right here. Well, I tell you what, that's the one he really wanted too.
That would have given him his first lead of the match.
Wow.
4 pin stands.
If he strikes there and then strikes out, he can shut out Michael Fagan. Now he cannot. Right now, Walter Ray can strike out to shoot 238. Michael Fagan still has a possible 242. So that was a real big hit for Walter Ray because that could have closed the door.
Rob and I are just nodding.
Sounds right.
Yeah, check out that grip right there. That's called the Sarge Easter grip. That's where the middle finger is a full fingertip and the ring finger is a conventional. And what it does is it just creates the ideal ball roll for Michael Fagan out here.
Come on. That one didn't hurt.
Didn't. Stayed straight on him.
And Michael Fagan's let Walter Ray hang around. He's given him some openings that Walter Ray hasn't been able to take advantage of, and now it's Michael Fagan's time to step up in the 9th and 10th frame and just shut the door on one of the greatest players ever. And Bill, in any sport, you have to be a great closer to be a great champion.
Yeah.
And that's what Michael Fagan's looking to do right now for the first time in his career here in the 9th and 10th frame.
Fagan started with 4 strikes. Since then, 9 spare, 9 spare, 8 spare, 6 spare. Needs to stop that trend here in the 9th. Yep.
There it was.
Big ball in the 9th for Fagan.
Time, Mike. Right?
Well, Walter Ray knows the score, and a spare strike here will give Michael Fagan 222. That will force Walter Ray to double in the 10th and get 6. But Michael Fagan can strike here and shut out.
And there's your strike. And there's your title.
Well, he still needs good count on this next shot, but for all intents and purposes, Michael Fagan is one good shot away from capturing his first ever singles title.
Come on, baby. Come on.
He just did the dirty work. Now he needs to clean up the mess with 8 pins and get his first singles title.
How about all 10 for the title? Enjoy the relief, Michael. Now the smile tells it all, doesn't it? To win your first singles title and to do it by taking down the greatest in the game, Walter A. Williams Jr., that is a huge honor. Enjoy your moment, Michael.
Just like his friend Phil O'Neill did earlier this season, capturing his first title, Michael Fagan follows suit. What a great performance.
Walter A. closes out here in the 10th.
And he also became the first guy to repeatedly make out with a bowling ball on TV. I'd never seen that before.
I didn't notice that. Good vision.
You didn't notice that? Before he kissed the bowling ball each time before he threw it.
He's actually blowing in the thumb hole. Yeah, just a little hot breath into the thumb hole to get it. a nice, secure feel.
Don't ruin this for me, Randy.
Sorry.
I wanted him to be kissing her.
It's what he will report on his Twitter account. All right? Facts often don't get in the way of Bill.
I guarantee all the casual fans who are watching this today thought he was kissing the bowling ball, so good luck.
I agree with you. Michael Fagan, his second tour title, his first as a singles player. Big win for the young man from Long Island, New York.
Honestly, I thought it was just a matter of time. He's been bowling so well this season. He had a great season last season. His third telecast, he just looked and felt ready to win.
So the king of swing earns a one-year exemption on the tour, to $25,000 paycheck, and moves a little bit up the food ladder there on the Player of the Year standings.
Walter left the door open for him, just a tad there in the middle, and then he charged through it.
Yeah, he never took advantage of. I mean, Michael was waiting for him.
Yeah.
And Walter Ray could never take advantage of it.
Next week, it's the Chris Paul PBA Celebrity Invitational. Coverage on that one Sunday at 2 Eastern on ESPN. Michael Fagan wins at 241-213. Sports guy Bill Simmons, final comment.
I really enjoyed it, and it was surprisingly more tense than I thought it would be. Like, especially the final match. Like, it was legitimately tense.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad to have you here, Randy.
Yeah, it was a blast. Thanks for being here, Bill. It was a great match, great titles, great final match, and what a way for Michael Fagan to win, beating one of the greatest ever.
And I'm most excited that I beat Rob in the Make Randy Laugh contest. It's like 4-1.
I gave it to you this week. For Randy Peterson, the sports guy, Bill Simmons, and our entire crew, I'm Rob Stone. So long from Fountain Valley. Michael Fagan wins his first singles title.